Chapter 12: The Art of Customizing Your Message. One of the most important pieces of information that you and I own is our name. All of us have had the mortifying experience of being in a personal or social setting when we were introduced to a very important person, and 3 minutes later we honestly don't know their name. Obviously, we wanted to know their name, and we recognize it is a critical element of courtesy and respect to call someone by their name. However, after just being told they're named by a mutual friend or contact, we don't know it. Communication only happens when information is reliably and correctly transferred. Obviously, in the case of our failed introduction, real communication did not take place. Let's assume that you want to eliminate this problem, so at your next function, everyone is given a name tag. You might, therefore, assume you have permanently resolved the challenge of forgetting someone's name whom you just met. Although you feel you have a foolproof solution in place, I would submit to you that for me and millions of other blind or visually impaired people, as well as millions of people who are not English readers, you still have not established an effective and reliable line of communication. In my office building at the Narrative Television Network, we have offices on one floor and studios on the floor below. Adjacent to the studios, I have a private workout room. Several times each day, I leave the office and go downstairs. I stay in communication via a small two-way radio. These radios have 22 channels. While this is a very effective way to communicate, they only work if you're on the right channel. If my office is sending on one channel but I'm receiving on another, there will be absolutely no communication. No matter how motivated my team is to get hold of me, nor how much they want to implement our mission, the reality is that for lack of being one channel certain way, our quest for the art of productivity is stagnated. While our radios have 22 settings, human beings come with many more options than that. When we developed the ultimate productivity profile for corporations, investors, and entrepreneurs to determine their own method to achieve the art of productivity, we discovered that the widest variety of disconnects come in the field of communication. Because communication is the most important element of creating success with the team you have around you, and because it is the bridge between motivation and implementation, we've all got to communicate. All of us lead people and have other people who lead us. If you are an entrepreneur or the CEO of your organization, you may think you are the top dog, but in reality, you have a number of people who are leading you. They are called customers. We all answer to someone. It is important that you understand what your leaders or the marketplace is telling you, just as it is critical that you pass along their messages and yours to choose whom you lead. It is impossible to be a great leader without being an excellent communicator. By definition, leaders are people whom other people follow. You cannot become a leader because you declared yourself one or because you decided to be. You have to earn the title and the position of leader. Earning the right to be a leader first requires you to process traits that others wish to eliminate. But unless you can communicate and demonstrate those traits in a way that others can discern, you are not really a leader. Our business and personal lives are controlled more and more by the proliferation of technology. You have heard it said that necessity is the mother of invention. It seems to me in business that a new invention becomes the mother of necessity. I have read many books written by and about political, business, and military leaders. In these books, many of their personal and professional letters are reprinted. It is obvious that before the advent of the telephone, everyone got along just fine. But once the telephone was invented, it became a necessity. It's hard to imagine functioning today without a telephone, fax machine, cell phone, and a computer connected to the internet. I heard a self-proclaimed business guru recently state that email and instant messaging have revolutionized communications. They have certainly brought about many changes, but they're not all good ones. Because my emails are read to me, I may notice it more than others. But emails are sent so quickly with very little context. You're often left asking yourself the question, what does he or she mean by that? Remember, you're the leader within a certain circle of colleagues. Your colleagues are very reluctant to blatantly tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. Or, I'm not sure you understand what I mean. Effective communication requires interaction. An exchange or a dialogue is needed to correct and fine-tune any potential miscommunication. The more avenues you have to communicate through and the more interaction you allow, the better the chances are that communications will indeed facilitate the art of productivity by building a bridge from motivation to implementation. Written communications often are left without expression or emphasis so that irony, sarcasm, and a degree of intensity are left out. You may understand what you're typing, but the person on the other end doesn't have a clue. You could receive the same email from two colleagues that said, "Wow, yesterday I really had a great flight." One of your colleagues may mean it was the best flight of his life. The service was impeccable, the flight and the landing was smooth, and he reached the gate right on time. Your other colleague sending you the same message may be using sarcasm to express his feelings that the service was non-existent, the flight and landing resembled a carnival ride, and the delay was measured by a calendar instead of a watch. If instead of emailing you their thoughts about their flights, you spoke to them on the phone, or better yet in person, you would likely quickly determine that one person had the best flight of his life and the other may have had the worst. Just as there are methods of communication that lend themselves better to different types of interaction, there are people who need specific methods or multitude streams of communication. If your lawyer prepares a 92-page contract and delivers it to you for your signature with a post-it note that says, "Read and sign," your lawyer has properly not communicated well, if at all, with you. A brief phone call or two-paragraph summary would make all the difference in the world. However, you can't replace the contract with a two-paragraph summary. You've got to communicate in the way the message dictates by virtue of its content as well as communicating to the person via the best avenue dictated by their needs and preferences. As a blind person, I am not able to read this page as you are doing just this moment. However, thanks to recorded books and a high-speed digital player, I complete a full book virtually every day. As the author of more than 30 books, as well as a nationally known speaker and television personality, people contact me regularly wanting to share a book, manuscript, or screenplay with me. Over the years, I have noticed that 90% of people, even knowing I am blind, simply forward me a printed document as they are seeking my help to get it published or made into a movie or TV show. Approximately 10% of the people bother to have it recorded or even ask my staff to me what format would be convenient or preferred as a blind person. Given these two approaches, I will leave it to your imagination to determine which type of presentation gets my immediate and full attention. Sometimes in a difficult or challenging communication environment, it means a great deal when you simply ask those with whom you are communicating if there is a better or preferred delivery method for your message. I have the privilege of speaking from the platform. Literally millions of people, and I have noticed that while my message doesn't dramatically change the way the audience receives my message, and therefore the method I employ shifts dramatically. I remember speaking to a group of research engineers during a portion of my presentation designed to be particularly humorous. I noticed scattered laughter punctuated by the sound of pens frantically scribbling and notebook pages turning. These high-level academics and mathematicians aren't comfortably determining that content is valid unless they have written it down. They want to see it, read it, and hold it in their hands. On the other hand, when I talk to a group of salespeople or media people, they are distracted, if not totally put off, in my presentation is not delivered in a way that is totally verbal. With one group, I am communicating with logic, reason, and facts. With another group, I am communicating the same message with humor, emotion, and visualization. Both methods are valid, but they are never interchangeable. There are few communications in your personal and professional life in which the best method is probably obvious. If someone is taking a phone message for you, it is probably best that they at least get the name and number in writing. However, a message that says, "Fred called concerning his order 5552321" can mean a myriad of things that can only be clarified when the verbal exchange that took place when Fred called is communicated. Fred may be concerned about his order in that he is so excited to receive your product and service that he wants to be sure he can order more. On the other hand, Fred may have been violently yelling at your receptionist as he communicated his concern that if the order didn't get there by tomorrow, he was canceling. If you don't know which environment you're getting ready to step into, you may be going into battle without any weapons. If you haven't already communicated with your receptionist that you wanted to be alerted to the different situations, You need to let them know you expect and welcome their full understanding of the goal. Two executives might be returning from lunch and both receive a message from their spouse. Just called to see what was going on. Executive A's spouse just had an extra moment between appointments and wanted to call and see how everything was going today. Executive B's spouse is calling because Executive B was supposed to meet the spouse for lunch and is 45 minutes late. This would be impossible to determine from a scribbled phone message, but almost impossible to miss in a verbal exchange. Written instructions, as well as verbal ones, always make sense to the person delivering them. Everything makes sense to me in my mind. My challenge in life is to get that message of clarity that I have in my mind into a book and use paper column, a speech, or a movie. As important as the day in, day out routine communications are, it is even more critical that the motivation you feel inside of you is accurately communicated to your entire team. There is a big difference between what you want someone to do and what you want done, as I described earlier. Standing around waiting for a crane may be what you want someone to do, while having a responsible person on call to maximize the efficiency of a valuable asset like a crane is what you want done. The more elements of the big picture you can communicate to everyone on your team, the better your chances of success. No matter how much you are motivated and how badly you wish to implement, unless you have accurate communication